Welcome to Emancipated Studio. Welcome my uncle, Uncle Stu, the old man on the block.
Salute, salute, salute. Listen here, I'm having one of these non-struggle streaming days. Yes. Salute to everybody that is here today. I am back, and I am loving being back with you in the house today. You know, we got a lot that's been going on these YouTube streets. Off of these YouTube streets, we just got it going on. But before we even get started, let me just give a thank you to each and every single one of you that sent prayers, that wrote comments, that sent me emails, that text me, that called me. I appreciate the love and the peace and the blessings that y'all have showered onto me. Definitely a big shout out to not only Brown Eyes, who has definitely been supportive from day one, and, praying for the kids, praying for me, my mom, and my sister. That was a love that is definitely did not go unnoticed. Let me give a big shout out to Angry Man, who kept a brother rolling and laughing while he was in New York. Just was able to bring me some good spirits and good vibes. If you noticed in the comments, ABL, which is a huge, respectful man in this space as a content creator, as a, if you want to call it a conservative commentary, I want to thank him and send him a big shout out to him. It's not often that someone who has that many subscribers, that is that well known, would even know who I am, especially in this space as a new content creator. And, I just want to be able to say to him, I thank you, sir. It was a very honored place to be, a very humbling place to be, that a man can recognize you and know who you are amongst many people that is blessed and walked across TLA's platform. So I never want to take those things lightly. And, so I'm here to say thank you, sir. It's a blessing. And I hope to one day be able to collab or work with you, or just admire your work, as you're the pioneer, especially in this political news space. Definitely to my right-hand men, the intentional millionaire before the billions, and Perry Unlikely. Love you, brothers, man. We three of a kind. Y'all kept me happy. You kept me smiling, and you even allowed me to cry. And we still can get back up as men and keep the ball moving forward. And so we are back, and we are definitely going to be keeping that ball moving forward. Now, let me also address some other things that also needs to be addressed tonight. As you can see, I'm going to address the Supreme Court issue, but I'm going to address it in a way that, based on everything that I've seen so far online, it has not been addressed. I've heard a lot of arguments. I've heard the left. I've heard the right. I've heard everybody's talking points. I've heard everybody's angles. But the reality is, there's a lot of things that a political scientist who only looks straight down the middle can see that many people don't. I want you to understand that I do understand for some, this is a very, very hot button topic. This is a very sensitive topic. But I need this sensitivity to be understood in ways that I don't see it really talked about. Now, I'm not here to persuade you to go to the left or to the right, but I am going to just give you the facts as they really are. And I will be doing probably a part 2 and part 3 in dealing with this subject. I'm also going to say that this is probably going to be the first introduction into my second channel, and where I will be talking more about politics, and how certain policies affects how we are governed in this country. So it will be taking a deeper dive as opposed to it being on this channel and dealing with it on this channel. So, for right now, I'm going to speak about it on this channel, and I'm not going to, as the lead attorney would say, long stroke you as far as this conversation goes. I will be doing more talking, and then I will, look at the chat to see if there's any questions or any situation like that. My understanding, Anton Daniels' channel was taken down because of some foolishness. Let me make a pause. Shout out to Sister George with the $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you. I also want to send a shout out, Sister George. You make sure this particular content creator gets this shout out. I want to thank Sister George because I've also been away. And she definitely was blessing me while I was gone, and I want to thank her for her prayers and her co-hosts and her prayers. So I thank you, ladies, for your support and everything. We are dealing with a lot of issues today, and we heard in the news about the Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade. I need everybody to take a deep breath. Roe versus Wade is not overturned. Let me say that again. Roe versus Wade is not overturned, quote, yet. And I'm going to use the word yet, and I'm going to explain the yet. What we are dealing with is a situation in which most people really don't understand how government works from a political standpoint. Most people don't understand that we have 3 forms of government in this country. And most people don't understand their powers and what they was really called to do. Another thing that a lot of people don't understand is what really led up to where we are now. And terms that's being thrown out that a lot of people is just using haphazardly. And in that haphazard using, they are causing more confusion and more discourse than needs to be. Tonight, I'm going to take this a little slow. I'm not going to have a long live because I just want you to really just sit back, really get an understanding of what we're dealing with here. There's going to be some things that I'm probably going to say that's going to sound controversial to you, but it's facts. There's going to be some issues that I'm going to raise. And if it bothers you, if it tingles you, if it disturbs you, don't run away. Make a note. Send me a comment so that we can truly address the issue at hand. I'm not here to argue whether you're pro-life or pro-choice. I'm not here to argue that. I'm not here to argue whether you need to be thinking as a liberal or thinking as a conservative. I'm not here to argue that. But I am here to give you an overarching understanding of 50 years of political discourse over this situation and why I, in my view, and in my opinion only, believe that this decision to overturn it is strictly based on politics, not feelings, not religion, not left, not right, but the understanding of how government is supposed to work. Let me give a big shout out to LuCasley. Thank you. She says, welcome back, Uncle Stu. Looking forward to seeing the content on your other channel. Thank you. The best way for me to begin is We have what's known in this government, three branches of government. We have the legislative branch. Their job, their sole job and mission is to do one thing: write the laws. Write laws. Then you have the executive branch. Their job is solely to execute the law. And then you have the judicial branch, or what we know today as the Supreme Court. And their job is to judicate the law. Now, what do I mean? In other words, the body of Congress or the legislative branch are the ones that wrote the Constitution of the United States and all the laws that goes within that body of the Constitution. The executive branch, or what you would know as the place where the president presides, is the one that executes the laws, or he is the one that puts the police action into those laws that Congress enacts. Now, if anybody on that level breaks a federal law, or there's a conflict between the legislative branch and the executive branch, then they take it to the Supreme Court. And as the Supreme Court is supposed to judge the law and be able to adjudicate over that law and give an answer as to which way a law is supposed to be interpreted. This understanding is something that really needs to be made clear. Now, that's the federal level. Then you have what's known as the state. When this country first got founded, the federal government was very small. And it was very limited in what it can do via over the states, meaning it had very limited power to tell individual states what they can and cannot do. And the first major time that the argument of states' rights came up, we can historically say it was over slavery, where some states said that they had the right to own slaves, while other states and the federal government says, no, you don't. And as we know in history, this broke out into a civil war. And we hear this argument of states' rights versus federal. And that argument continued all the way up until the 1960s, when we had to deal with civil rights and what was going on in the southern states versus what was going on in the northern states. But I want to speed this up. In the 1970s, the Roe versus Wade went all the way up to the Supreme Court. There's a word that continues to be used, and the word is called precedent. But I'm going to argue against that word precedent in this case. At this time, there were rich people who, with Planned Parenthood, allegedly, was setting up programs in mostly poor Black neighborhoods. And their sole purpose in poor Black neighborhoods was to eliminate children who was born into poverty. There's major cases in North Carolina about this. There are stories written about this and documentaries written about this. And what at that alleged time, Planned Parenthood was a group of people who actually went into poor neighborhoods to eliminate babies. They use other words, they use other terms, they use other philosophies, but it is the reality. Now, written in our Constitution, there is no Constitution written that talks about the deletion of children. There's nothing written. Nowhere. Nowhere in the Constitution. There's nothing written in any federal law at that time. Nothing. So when it came to this case, What Supreme Court Justice Alito spoke on in the documents was that there were people in that historical time that really didn't care about pro-life or pro-choice. All they had was an agenda to do what? To see to it that population control of African Americans, especially poor African Americans, was limited. It was made low. In other words, the judicial branch at that time created a law that they didn't have the power to create. Let me say that again. The Supreme Court created a law that they did not have the power to create. And because they created that, now we have something on the books in the Supreme Court that says deletion of children is legal. It's illegal. But the irony is that there's no federal law that says the same thing. So in reality, there really isn't a law. There's only a judgment given in the Supreme Court, meaning the Supreme Court overreached when it came to this so-called precedent. Now, this law remained in effect up to now for 50 years. What's been happening in this 50 years? We've been hearing many arguments about this case. We've been hearing arguments about a woman's right to choose. We've heard arguments about, men trying to tell women what to do with their bodies, etc. But I'm going back to an argument that was stated on the lead attorney. We all know him as TLA. And he talked about Alito end up doing something that most lawyers don't do, which is, quote unquote, talking about previous Supreme Court justices. But I think it needs to be understood, it needs to be clarified that there's a lot of issues that took place in the 70s, and that these issues needs to be addressed. One of the things that needs to be addressed is, one, statistically, who is self-deleting children? We find out statistically it's the African-American community. The African-American community. Why? We understand that statistically, the statistics are extremely high in our community. Not only that, but even our population has decreased. Now, I don't want to get into the weeds. And what I mean by getting into the weeds, well, should it be 15 weeks? Should it be 6 weeks? Should it be this? Should it be that? I'm going to address that on my other channel and not on this channel for those answers. But let me just find out something. Everybody that's in the chat, am I making sense? Put a 1 in the chat if I'm making sense. I want to make sure that what I'm saying to you has some form of clarity and not confusion. So just put in, just do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat if I'm making sense. If I'm not making sense and there's some things that you need me to clear up, put a 2 in the chat. Okay, I got a couple of 1s. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Let's go down to the most sensitive area that we really need to go down. Ladies and gentlemen, my nieces and nephews, we have a country that we must understand that there has been a war, in my opinion and in my view, of what I define as positive heterosexual relationships. Very sensitive word. And this has been a war since the conception of this policy. There's been a war on the family unit. There's been a war against males. And I don't care if you're a black male, white male, Hispanic male, men. And there has also been an unprecedented war against our children. Unprecedented war against our children. And it's all behind a lot of it, the precedent of this Roe versus Wade case. What do I mean? How do I put all of this together in a package? One thing about politics, and I'm using a elementary understanding to teach you. One thing about politics is a group sport. And what I mean by a group sport, it means if I have a common interest and you have a common interest, we can come together with our common interests in order to dominate, in order to control a particular agenda. So, for example, if African-American men and Hispanic men and Asian men and white men came together, regardless of our race or where we worship or whatever, but we have a common theme amongst us, we can come together and formulate as one big party in order to dominate and control our own agenda. And this is how a lot of politics and a lot of policies are written. It's written by the dominant group. So what has happened? We have seen it clouded. We're talking about this issue clouded with the coming together of white feminism, black feminism, and the alphabet community has joined forces in order to push an agenda off on everyone who may not agree with their agenda. Their agenda is so strong that they don't even allow you the right to speak against it. And what's even worse is that they will silence you for even disagreeing with anything that is being said. Controversial, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I'm a veteran of the United States Army. I fought for everyone to have a right to vote and a right to speak. And a lot of times what happens is, a lot of times we are now in a place where you are no longer given the right to speak. Anything that goes against a particular view or a particular agenda, they call it hate speech. Anything that goes against anything that they believe, they call it hate. They call it anger. They call you ignorant. They call you a buffoon. And if you're an African American, you are called a coon, a sellout, a buffoon. You're called out of your race. You're called out of your character. You're called out your name. You're right, Jason. Jason wrote Dictatorship. Absolutely. Absolutely. It is a political dictatorship. And what has happened over these 50 years is that we have seen the rise of social political dictatorship. Love that word. Let me say it again. We have been dealing with 50 years of social dictatorship. Now, what is social dictatorship? How is it affecting us? We now have it where I did a program and we talked about the illiteracy rate. And we talked about this illiteracy rate amongst Black males. We talked about this illiteracy rate is so bad that only a minority of Black males can read above the third grade reading level. Now, I did a little deep dive, did a little research. Now we're finding out that in Florida, they would rather teach children about the ABC community than to teach these children how to read a book. I'm going to say it again. They would rather teach identity politics than to teach these children how to read a book. And if you speak against it, they call it hate speech. But is it hate speech? Or is it just that I want to see children know how to read a book before they know how to identify themselves? I don't understand it. And I'm open to anybody that can intellectually talk about it. Another issue that seems to be hitting the table that we don't seem to talk about. We now have it where, and I just got back from New York City, that a person can come into your business and at one time they might be named John. They go away for the weekend and come back and their name is Jane. And if you misidentify that individual, you could be sued for not identifying people accordingly. Sued. Now, I'm old, so it's hard for me. But this is where we are. Now, I agree with something I heard Angry Man say, but I actually am going to take and show it to you in a video. According to certain news sources says that when Elon Musk got Twitter, they didn't say, hey, he bought Twitter for good economic gains. Oh, he got Twitter so that we can do this, and Twitter might be a better company that we can use. The first thing they came out with was he's a racist, that he was going to be pushing hate speech, that he was just going after every Black person, that he is this evil man because he was just going to go after everybody with hate speech. Now, I've been trying to investigate Elon Musk. I've been trying to read some of the stuff that he's talking about, and I haven't seen hate speech. Hate speech. You know, it's funny to me that having an intellectual conversation has now turned into hate speech. Me being a Christian, I believe a certain kind of way. I was a Muslim and I believed a certain kind of way. Shout out to my Muslim brothers and sisters that just completed Ramadan. But because I don't believe what, again, has been coined in the chat as social dictatorship, my platform could be shut down because I don't believe in what someone else believes. But I thought that I lived in a country where we all had a right to the freedom of intellectual ideas. And yet, because of social dictatorship, those ideas are no longer allowed to be expressed. We're no longer allowed to communicate and have an intellectual conversation anymore, because now having these conversations, either we're called out by our name or they'll just shut down all forms of communication. I need you to understand that this Roe versus Wade is way deeper than merely whether or not a woman has a right to her body. Brown Eyes felt and believed, and I'm going to express her fears that after speaking on this live that I was going to lose a lot of subs, that a lot of people was going to leave. But that man that's standing right there is my dad. And if he can go to Vietnam and retire as a New York City police officer without fear in the 1960s, shout out to my dad. I doubt very seriously that his son is going to fear. Because sooner or later, I got to give y'all the truth. I got to tell y'all that we're losing. As African-American people, we're losing. And there's a reason why we're losing. You know, there used to be a time, and I say it right now, there's a time in where today we are voting against our own interests because we're allowing people to tell us how to think, to tell us how to talk, and to even tell us how to walk. There was a time where we could hear the voice of Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King and all of the men of the 1970s of the Black Panther Party. Do you think they could be able to speak today? Do you really think Dr. King would have the articulation to speak today? The answer is no. Do you think that Malcolm could be talking about men being men and knowing how to protect their wives and their children? Nah. He would be too masculine, too baritone bass voice. Again, I don't want to long stroke you, because there's so much that needs to be talked about. There's so much that needs to be unpacked. There's so much that I even want you to say, Uncle Stu, I want to know more about this, and I want to understand that, and I'll be glad to go into it. If you get nothing out of this today, what I want you to get out of this today, what I want you to take away is, don't get caught up in the fiery darts of the conspiracies, the philosophies, the sensitivities of people's words. What do I mean? I want to see people challenge people, but don't challenge them in the sense of an argument. I want to challenge my people, the one that come here to be emancipated of a free mind. I want you to start asking yourself questions. Ask yourself questions like, what do I really believe? Forget what everybody else believes. What do I believe? If I say I believe in God, and I believe in a heterosexual marriage, and I believe in a heterosexual family, this is not anti-alphabet city. It's what you believe. Just because you don't believe something doesn't mean that you want to harm somebody. Maybe I don't believe in the God of apple pie, but it doesn't mean I'm going to take away your right to worship an apple pie. That's your right. Enjoy your apple pie. Worship it all you want. Maybe for some of you, you want to speak English and Spanish and French. That's your right. But as long as your rights don't infringe on my rights, we can live in peace and harmony today. But when your rights infringes on my rights, there's no peace and there is no harmony. And what we're seeing today is no peace and no harmony. You know, whether you like Donald Trump or don't like Donald Trump, that doesn't matter to me. But what I want y'all to understand is they shut down the President of the United States from speaking. They shut down an active duty commander of the armed forces, shut his speech down. Again, I'm not here to argue whether you like him or not. I want you to understand the power of shutting your speech down. So if they got the power to shut down the president, an active president, what power do they have when it comes to you and I? What's the real social, political agenda? The question becomes, and I'm going to agree with ABL on this, why was that document leaked? Was it leaked for good or was it leaked for bad? There's an agenda. And now when I say agenda, I'm not talking conspiracy. Why was this document that was leaked at this time? What are people hoping to get out of this? Just some questions. I have my own thoughts. I have my own theories. Because while this may be stirring up political parties, stirring up the left to get their group, stirring up the right to get their group, my question to you is, do you really know what you're voting for? Do you really understand policy? You know, it's funny to me. And again, on my other channel, I'll be glad to take a deep dive if you want the deep dive. It's funny to me that a man can stand here and tell you in your face, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. If you don't vote Democrat, you're not black. I thought people like my grandfather and my father died for my right to vote. It didn't tell me that my parents and that the civil rights movement and that Malcolm X and all these people told me that I am only supposed to vote one way. They taught me I have the right to vote. And what is voting? Voting my interests. And my interests may not always be your interests, but I have a right to vote my interests. I have a question. What's your interests? When you take your children to school, what are you interested in? What is your interest? And is the people that say they're for you, are they really voting your interests or are they voting their own interests? What is their real agenda? I understand certain arguments when people say the civil rights people are blocking progression and blocking this and they're not doing that. I understand the argument. But here's my counter argument. Then what are you voting for? Are you willing to stand and be called out your name and character to really speak what you believe, what you think, what, and I don't want to use the word feel. I want y'all to think. I want y'all to think. I don't really want a platform where I'm trying to force you to be one thing over the other. I have my own political views. I have my own political theories. I have my own political thoughts. And I can easily articulate those theories and articulate why. There's a reason for those that are ADOS and FBA. It's a reason why you ain't going to get your reparations. It's not about one agenda over other. There's a reason. And until you understand that, good luck waiting on your reparations. This is not me trying to belittle you. This is not for clickbait. This is not for you to take this little snippet and go run off to some platform and try to say, Uncle Stu said we ain't going to get reparations. No, there's a political reason why. There's a reason why we are losing. And let me help some of you in the back. There are black people that are purposely keeping majority of the black people down. This ain't a generation. This is a power struggle. Wake up. Spike Lee said it. Wake up. Some of the very people that you calling a sellout, that you calling a coon, that you calling the Uncle Tom, it's funny that these people, did they really sell you out? Or did they sell you into an idea to be able to move the ball forward? Because it's funny to me that the real sellouts are the ones that took all this money from the Black Lives Matter. They end up getting houses. They living good. They living large. Who really sold the black community out? Just saying. You know, I said I wasn't going to be here long. Just looked up 27 in the chat. I don't know who else is listening. I'm willing to drop the link in the chat, but I'm going to let y'all know that if I do that, I need you to be totally uncammed in the back. I really need to know who you are. Because like I said, I already know that y'all got Anton Daniels. I know I got haters. I know I do. I know I do. So if you got questions, anything like that, I'm now looking more directly at the chat. And again, you don't have to believe everything I say. At least write a comment. Talk to me. Let's not argue. Let's not get so emotional. Let's really have an intellectual conversation, because I think that's what's missing in real conversations. We're yelling at each other. We're name calling each other. We're belittling each other, but no one's talking to each other. You know, I had a guy come in my comment section. He wrote about 5, 6 comments. He don't have a platform. He don't have none of that stuff. Blasting me because I had a woman on my platform. Wondering whether or not I'm manosphere. Wondering, talking about baby boomers. My dad is a baby boomer. So what I look like talking about my dad who's a baby boomer? Are we still talking about these generation stuff, or are we going to now pick the ball up and get ready and move forward? I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to move forward. I'm ready to educate African-American women that are ready to get married. They're not here with the foolishness. They don't want the foolishness. They just want to find them a good man, and a good man want to find a good woman and move this damn ball forward. Why? Because I'm going to tell y'all ladies something. Now I'm going to speak to my sisters. You failing, I don't care that you got your degree. But you sitting on a degree that's worth $60,000 a year and you're in debt. We cannot move this ball forward playing singleness while everybody else is whooping us being married and moving up in the social economic classes. Period. We're not moving forward, people. The numbers don't lie. It's funny. Hold on. Robert A. says, it is funny we still use the term like Uncle Tom. Him being the sellout is Civil War Democrat propaganda from when we was allowed to read. That's right. Maybe I need to tell y'all who the real Uncle Tom is from the book Uncle Tom's Cabin and where the term Uncle Tom comes from. Awesome history. Shout out to you, sir. What does New Growth Old Soul say? We really have to have our church, parents, etc. make an all out. Hold on, let me get it right here. He says, okay, Jason Shannon says, all I care about is our children. That is the most important thing. Nuclear family is the only way to save our babies. Shout out to you, sir. Yes, sir. Let's see what else we got coming in the comments. Let me see what we got. I got my moderator, Big Bad Bull. He just blasting it. Okay, let me finish reading what where you at, New Grove? There you go. New Grove also says, we really have to have our churches and parents, etc., make an all-out effort to educate our kids. Nothing else should matter to our babies are able to compete educational. That's right. As I said, I want to do more conversations like this. I believe that you are educated men and women. And I did not set up this platform to show you that I'm a millionaire, to prove to you how wealthy me and Brown are. That doesn't mean nothing if my people are losing. Means nothing. I'm not new to wealth. I'm not. But I'm also not new to the game. And I want to help you win in the game. You can win the game. You just got to understand the tools and the weapons. They say, can I get a little preaching in here? They say the weapons of our warfare is not carnal, but they're mighty through God for the pulling down of strongholds. Ladies and gentlemen, those pulling down of strongholds is now. It's now. What is the pulling down of strongholds? Pulling down that Black women are educated, they make money, and they can be submissive to a good man. And what is a good man? A man that is doing the same thing, a man that has a vision, a man that has growth. We can do this. We don't have to accept the lie of the devil. We ain't got to accept the lies that's being told to us. We don't have to accept that we need programs to make us better. When my God said, when he created you and I, he made us whole. Let me say it again. My God said, when he created you and I, he made us whole. That means we're two whole people coming together to make a better whole. Shout out to Candid Ann. Let me talk to you. I know you hear me talk about my mother and father. Yes, my parents was married 55 years by the grace and mercy of God, but their son couldn't do it. But let me say this to some of you that may say, but I didn't grow up with a father. That may have been the best thing in your life, because now you know, excuse me, y'all. You growing up without a father, that may turn out to be the best thing in your life. Why? Because you know what it means not to have a father. Be the father that your father couldn't be, but also forgive your father because maybe he didn't know how to be the man that he needed to be just for you. But don't you ever blame him. Be the man that you couldn't be. Don't go for these agendas that tell you you have a right to fail because your daddy failed. The Bible is always going to tell you the truth. The sin of the father does not pass down to the son. Let me say that again. The sin of the father do not pass down to the son. Shout out to I Am Shalakemia. Yeah, God. Thank you. And be on the lookout, y'all. Shalakemia and I, we're redoing our schedule. Shalakemia got an awesome book out, and we're going to be promoting her book right here on this channel. So be on the lookout, because we're going to definitely be rescheduling that. And shout out to Jason Shannon. Appreciate you being a member of this channel. I'm putting in more work. You're going to be seeing more videos being dropped versus just lives, because I want y'all to always be able to have that knowledge. Thank you. Rare Beauty and Sparkle B, thank you. Blessings to you too. I want you Black women to stop accepting the lie of the devil that tells you that you're broke, that you're bruised, that you this, that you that you all that in a bag of chips. Let me help you sisters with something. Can we go there? Let me go there. My sister, you can't make a child alone. I don't care what science say. You can't make a child alone. Stop acting like you can raise one alone. Okay, y'all didn't hear me because my chat didn't blow up yet. So let me say it one more time. You didn't make a child alone. Stop acting like you can raise that child alone. If you having the choice to lay down with a man and he ain't put a ring on it, you ain't married to it, but you want to get your woo-woo on, are you willing to really accept the responsibility of bearing that child? I know it's real easy for us and for people to come on my platform and say, well, Uncle Stu, you need to tell the men to put a rubber on it. You need to tell the men to protect themselves. You need to tell the men to do this and to do that. Okay. Brothers, put something on it. Sisters, close your legs. Now, we can solve that problem. See, responsibility is a two-way street. Responsibility is a two-way street, and we can become responsible. Let me tell you why there's a political agenda that don't want you women responsible, because you are the creators of the economy they don't want to talk about. Let's talk about it. Ladies, they love for some of y'all to stay on welfare. They don't want your man in the house because, see, the boys you raise become the slave they need in their prison system. Let me say it again. I'm sounding like Omar Johnson. I ain't him. The boys that a lot of you is raising, you're creating slaves to work in the prison system. How can I say this? When 80% of the African-American men that's in prison don't have a father, who is raising them boys? Who is it? Why? It's an agenda. Brothers, let me help you. When we as men don't take responsibility for ourselves, we leave a generation weak. Because now it's time for us to get up and do what we got to do as men. The hell with what society say. What did your God tell you? I don't want to preach this. But if you allow me to use the Bible right now, God said that he created you men in his image and his likeness. A woman wasn't even around, bruh. You are created in the image and the likeness of a God that put the power of creativity, imagination, and the power to be able to build everything you need to build and create. He did it before he created a woman. The only time he gave you a woman is when you've already built the kingdom. Now, let me help you. He says, bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. In other words, my brother, when we build our home, we build our business, we build what we need to build, God is going to teach us and show us the woman that's just for us. Stop running around these women trying to tell you what a good woman is. That's not the scripture. And I'll challenge anybody on that one. Come challenge a man. Why did Adam say, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh? Because the bone is the structure, the flesh is the outer work. Because at that moment in time, in the most holistic way, Adam found somebody that was his equal. Stop being afraid of this word equal. Equal doesn't have a power. What equal simply means is that I can communicate with somebody that can communicate with me. It means that her and I can be intimate. What is intimacy? Enter into me and see. Stop believing the lie of the enemy that's telling you as a black man, you are no good. The devil is a liar. Stop, ladies, believing what these women are telling you, that you don't need a man. You don't need this. You don't need that. The very women that's telling you that, either they're in one of two positions, and I challenge it. Either they ain't got a man, or they down with that other crew. They down with the alphabets. It's funny to me that all the women complaining ain't got a man. But they telling you how to get a man, keep a man, stay with a man. I'm confused. I'm confused. You know, I want to, ladies, I can get my brothers right. I can get my brothers right. Angry Man and I, we have these conversations. I have them with Intentional Millionaire. I have them with a Perry Unlikely. I've had it with Edward Anderson. I've had it with the best of black men on these YouTube streets. I'm going to do a drop the mic moment. Y'all let me know if this is a drop the mic moment. But when my black sisters stop inviting boys into their house and thinking you can make a boy into a man, then maybe the men can raise up men. But some of you got to take responsibility for them boys you brought in the house. You got to own up to some stuff. You take him out of mama house and he ain't pay no bills there. And you bring him in your house and you think he gonna pay bills there? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Then you turn around and give him children. Then you mad because he don't be a father. Well, how can he be a father to a child when he's never been a father to himself? Some of you ladies got to take responsibility for the way some of these brothers are. Some of you is going to have to look at your own life and take responsibility for the choices you made. Just woman up. Say, you know what? I love what was in between his legs, but I didn't take the time to learn what was in his mind and what was in his heart. Now let me move forward. Why did I go from the Adam story to this? It's because, ladies, the question becomes, a lot of you, and maybe I need to do a different live stream for this, but let me just drop this nugget. I said, when Adam was communing with God, he received his identity from God. But a lot of you mothers have cursed the identity of your sons. You curse his identity when you talk evil of his father. You curse his identity when you get up on national television and curse black men out. You curse his identity when you sit up here and you talk evil on platform after platform after platform. You're cursing your son's name, which means you're cursing his identity. Then you want to know why some of these men is acting the way they are, is because they don't have an identity. We have an identity crisis. And we know we have an identity crisis because we're watching men now sitting up and saying they feel this way and they feel that way and they feel this way. And they want to blame this generation. They want to blame that generation. And they want to blame the tall black man. They want to blame the light-skinned black man. They want to blame the six-figure man. They want to blame the 50-year-old. Grown men do grown men stuff. What do I mean? The word responsibility. What does responsibility mean? The ability to respond to anything at any time, anywhere. Responsibility. You have watched my life. You have watched me grow through the death of a son. You've watched me be verbally abused by boys. And now you're watching me go through the death of my father. Yet I still got a podcast to run, still got a business to run. I still got an apartment to run, still got a house to run. I still got a woman I got to take care of. I still got a child in college. Is it because I'm all that in a bag of chips? No, it was because I learned the tools that I needed to learn to be responsible, to have the ability to respond to anything at any time, at anywhere. Brothers, it's time to level up and become responsible. I had a guy come in my comment section, and I don't normally call people out for this, but I got to. Dude comes in my comment section and he makes 5 comments telling me about Minister Jap and this one and that one. He don't even have a platform, but got a whole lot of smoke. So I challenge him, and I still challenge him. Come to this platform, let's talk. Because if you think I'm going to curse out baby boomers, that's cursing out my father. And nothing but a bunch of weak yellow back men continue to complain. But I want to see, what are you doing about it? Let's pretend baby boomers messed everything up. What are you going to do about it? You going to cry about it, or you going to do something about it? I can sit here and I can complain, but I come up here so that I can make sure that the mistakes that I personally made, I ain't taking over no whole generation, that you don't make. That's what, if I take it all the way back, that's what politics is truly about. What are you going to do about it? We could sit here and we can argue about the 60s and the civil rights movement. That's gone. What are you going to do in 2022, everybody? You could sit here and you could blame a man until you go home to the Lord. Question is, my sister, what are you going to do about it? You're going to try to make a man into something that he's not. A man and a woman is different. Period. Get over it. He created us different. We have different moves, different purposes, different visions. We're different. Just accept it. Accept it. There are things that women can do that a man can't do. There are things that a man can do, a woman can't do. But let me tell you something. If you put that man, that woman together, oh my God, that is a force to be reckoned with. But there are people that don't want you together, and you got to learn to stand up and say, no more. No more. You have to be the one that's got to stand up and say, no more. You know, I can drop the link, put Intentional Millionaire up here, who will teach you about finances, and he'll teach you about who is better. The single man doing it all on his own, or the couple doing it on their own. Let me tell y'all something. There's a whole lot of neighborhoods don't want you single mothers around. You can call it prejudice, you can call it hate, you can call it whatever you want. But they don't want a single mother that got about 4 or 5 children, about 3, 4 baby daddies in their neighborhood. This is about money. It ain't about you. Listen, I've been on this rant for over an hour. So let me see what's going on in this chat, whether y'all talking to me or communicating with each other. Is it y'all seem to be talking to each other for right now? Shout out to Bolo TV is in the house. Ms. M. Mills is in the house. My brother, the Intentional Millionaire, is in the house. I'm trying to get us another raise, Intentional. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. You know, we work for a hard boss. We work for a hard boss. Shout out to you, Black Soul King, for the $10 super chat. You are completely right. We all have done wrong. Now what? I agree. Give the order. Let's work. Amen. Amen. Right now, the order needs to be this. I want both men and women tonight. I want you to ask yourself a question. What do I truly believe? I know I'm a social commentary. I know I run a podcast. I know that my job is to create content. But I really want you to ask yourself tonight, what am I going to be willing to believe and what am I going to be willing to work for? Thank you, Black Soul King. Appreciate you. Because see, at the end of the day, it's about you. And I've always said to each and every single one of you, every subscriber is not a number, it's a person. It's a human being. And every human being, you are winners. I don't see losers. I don't see victims. I don't see pain, I see gain. I don't put the word or the numbers 304 in nothing because I don't see 304s, I see women. I see women who wants to really learn how to be a wife, not a knife, a wife. I don't see a bunch of sorry black men. I see men who just need some tools and they will be kings. Am I perfect? Nah. Do I claim perfection? Nah. But one thing I can claim is I'm a winner. And I don't do nothing but produce winners. And I don't do nothing but hang around winners. Winners win. And we're going to win. That's right, M. Mills. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. I'm tired of conversations about this generation didn't do this. I'm tired of the conversation of, well, these women over here, these women over here. Let me tell you, brother, something. We can't make these women do nothing they don't want to do. We can't make a woman do nothing they don't want to do. I don't care how much truth, how much statistics, how much the facts, some are never going to change. So why are you sitting there wasting your time and your energy trying to make somebody change that ain't going to change? Don't make sense. Ladies, you can sit around here and have all the standards you want, but if the man you want don't want you, that's not on him, that's on you. I'm going to give it to you rough, rugged, raw, and real. If you ain't up to my standard, I don't want you. And ain't nothing you can do. You can't fear me into it. You can't lie me into it. You can't booby your way into it. You can't booty shake your way into it. You can't. What do I mean? If I don't want a 400-pound woman, I don't want a 400-pound woman. You can do all the Lizzo if you want. If I don't want it, I don't want it. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Ladies, I love you. I care about you. I want to see you with a good man. I want you to be able to come to my chat and say, I got a good man. We getting married in 6 months. I got a good man. We moving forward. I got a good man. We getting ready to buy a house. Well, I got a good man. We getting ready to go into business together. I got a lot of good brothers that wants to do the right thing. But I need you sisters to get from around these foolish women. They ain't got a man, never had a man, can't keep a man, but going to tell you about a man. Really? I mean, you can run around and blame Kevin Samuels all day. You can run around and blame all the black male content creators. You can run around, blame the black management. You can run around and do all that stuff, but at the end of the day, are you sleeping on a pillow? Or you sleeping in the arms of a man? Well, Uncle Stu, what this got to do with politics? What this got to do with the Supreme Court? What this got to do with everything you stated at the very beginning? You seem, Uncle Stu, to have went on a tangent. So let me sum it up for you. I said at the very beginning of this conversation that there are political agendas that started in the 1970s. Let me just deal with the 70s, y'all. It started in the 1970s. And these little groups began to get bigger and bigger and bigger, that now we have a social dictatorship. And that social dictatorship has caused major divisions in our what's now known as political discourse. And sometimes you can't see it. You may not understand all the moving parts of it. But as a political scientist, I see it. I even said it on TLA. I said to the lead attorney, you see things from the law. I see things from the political science perspective. So I see a little bit different. Doesn't mean that the lead attorney is wrong. Absolutely not. It's just that we're looking at two different lenses and seeing something. And I'm here to tell y'all that Uncle Stu loves you, that he cares about you, that he wants you to be successful. And I'm doing everything on my side to make sure that you get right knowledge and right information. Yes, there's going to be player haters out here. There's going to be people that don't love Uncle Stu. There are people that's going to lie on Uncle Stu. There's people that just don't want to do nothing. So the only thing they can do is complain. But if anything, recognize that I am joining platforms. I'm joining like-minded men and some women that wants to move the ball forward. They ain't got time to sit here and complain and argue and fuss all day long on talking points. That's it. See how long we've been on here. Been on here almost an hour and 23 minutes. Let me ask y'all a question. Does anybody want to come up and say anything? Or do y'all have any questions in the chat? Was this all right for y'all? Let me know if everything was good in it. But Benard, you want to come up? Diamond says, as a race, we were better off when we were segregated, had better morals, businesses, family unit. Facts. My dad would say that. Yes, facts. LuCasley says, question, everything that the mainstream media tells you. Facts. They are always on this point of propaganda arm for the government. It doesn't matter what side. Facts. Facts. Vaughn says, you covered everything. Excellent show. Thank you, sir. When I get ready to close this stream, I want y'all to put a comment. Let me know. Even if there was some things I said that you disagree, let me know. Be intellectual. Say, hey, this is one part I didn't agree. If there's something that you learned, let me know. If this is something that you like, let me know. Because I don't want to make content that you're not going to like. I don't want to make content that you don't want. My job is to make content that's going to help you, going to motivate you, and going to keep you learning. Black Soul King says, we are black people are a kingdom within a kingdom. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bed Bad Bull says everything is on fire. Let me hear from my sisters. Where my sisters at? Healing False Wellness. And Mills says you're correct. So let's see what she said. And Mills says, no, you cannot make someone be with you. Accept it. Move towards someone who wants you. Shout out to Ed Mills. Von Dale Gary, you want to come up? All right. I'm going to let you up, but you're going to have to uncam up. But like I said, I didn't think I was going to be speaking this long. Y'all know I'm just getting back, still trying to get my strength on and whatnot. But let me know in the chat. Do y'all like this or what? Let me know in the chat. Again, I want to do content that you want. I want to be able to do content that you want to hear from and that you want to know about. So make sure you definitely leave me a comment. Let me know. Healing Wells 4 says, I love the show. I'm at the point. I'm ready to die alone. It seems nobody is honest or can be straight up. Healing Force Wellness, ain't nothing wrong with that. Let me speak to you. When I was dealing in the single game, I felt the same way. Because I was 51, 52, and I've already been married, been through everything I could think about being through, and I was totally at peace being alone. And you know what? If that's how you feel and believe, then you're okay. All right, I'm going to let you up.
What's up, Uncle Stu?
How are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful today.
All right. So what you got for me?
What I got for you, that was an excellent podcast.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
excellent. I just even subscribed to you from the lead attorney, too. I listen to him every day. Yep.
So what you got to say about, the comments or anything like that?
It's very substantive, very interesting comments. I even have some even better solutions. Yeah, I heard about like getting married and things like that, but we have to be thinking about where is the environment to get married in the first place. And the environment is not very good today. And the opportunity is not there for us to even get married in the first place. because the jobs are going to be automated, which is going to have an effect on African Americans by 10% as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what I say. If we know that, then we need to put our place in the position of automation. Second thing that I will say is, instead of looking for the environment, create the environment. Salute you, Big Bad Bull. Love the show. I miss you, brother. Glad you are back. I'm glad to be back as well. What I would say to that situation is, it's time that we create that environment. Stop complaining about the environment. We got to make it. Let me show you what I mean. When it's time to fertilize the grass, right? What do we use? Don't we use manure? Mm. We use the manure that's going to fertilize the ground, that's going to end up producing green grass, right? So sometimes we got to take all the crap that we got and all the scraps we got and create what? That which is good.
That is very correct right there. I even talk about building different platforms and be away from the system itself instead of complaining. I just don't have any time for complainers itself.
Right. The thing is, do 20% complaining, do 80% building. You understand?
20% building.
20% complaining. 80% of your time should be building. So let me give you an example. Every morning, I have conversations with at least 3 of my partners. We'll complain about 10 minutes. After the 10-minute complaint, we spend 50 minutes trying to figure out how to solve what took us 10 minutes to complain about.
Mm-hmm.
Then we put in the work. And then we evaluate the work we put in. So it's just like this platform. I can sit here and complain, I ain't got enough subscribers. I can complain, I ain't making enough money. I can complain all day long. But I'd rather spend 80% of my time doing what I got to do to make it right than to spend 80% of my time complaining about what's wrong.
That's right.
You see? So when I'm saying, yes, we can complain about the environment, but the question is, how much time are we going to spend fixing the environment we're complaining about? So in other words, we can sit here and say, I don't like it in the hood.
But what you're going to do to fix that hood, or what are you going to do to get out of that situation in the first place?
Case closed.
Case closed. Yeah. Amen to that. If you don't like something, just either build it yourself or just get out of that environment and move to a different environment that's going to appreciate you.
Exactly.
That's what I'm doing. I'm not complaining about the environment. What I'm working on is not only creating that environment in the United States, I'm also looking to dual citizenship, because you're being treated better with respect instead of you complaining about it in the first place.
Let me ask you a question. You use the term dual citizenship. Can you tell me exactly what is your dual citizenship?
Well, I'm planning on getting Colombian and Brazilian citizenship because of the respect and appreciation. Even though there's problems everywhere, I'm not going to say there's better than not. But in dual citizenship, you learn what I'm chasing more is education. What is it like in different cultures versus the United States? And
have you traveled? Have you ever traveled?
I never traveled before, but I'm getting ready to. But I know I'm getting tired of here, but I don't complain about it. I'm working on travel. I'm learning what I need to do. I used to study Portuguese at least 80 days, 5 days a week.
Okay. Let me ask you this. When you say you're going to Brazil, what is influencing you to go to Brazil?
The culture. It's like the respect level, the culture. And what also influenced me was, have you heard of Charles Tyler? Yeah.
No, I haven't. Go ahead, continue. I'm listening.
Yeah, that's what influenced me to go to Brazil. Was the Black Brazilian culture is very respectful, and it was like the Black culture before feminism that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm looking into Brazilian citizenship as well, because the culture, they taught us about the value of respect and humanity. That's what I value most.
Okay. Let me challenge you.
Okay, I'm ready.
I am a military veteran.
My dad was a Vietnam vet.
I've traveled this world almost twice over. And you said you're new here, right? In the sense of being on my platform.
Yeah, this is my first time on the platform. And
Okay.
I just challenges. So I'm not.
No, fine. I welcome you. I welcome you. I welcome you. What I would like you to do, I just want to challenge you on this. And I want you to come back so that we can have conversation, because I do want you to travel. I do want you to see things. So I am not trying to hinder you from seeing those things. Can you do me a favor? And I want you to see a complete interview that I did with a woman named LuCasley 20.
LuCasley 20.
LuCasley 20. It's on my platform. And I want you to just hear the whole entire thing. It's only about maybe an hour and a half long. Take time and just watch that interview. And then I want us to come back and have a conversation. The reason I want you to do that is because, one, I want you to speak to somebody that is from Nicaragua, which is part of a strong Black culture, okay? Someone who has come from many Latin countries before coming into America, okay? What I understand, and don't get me wrong, this whole idea of wanting to leave America and go find a woman in another country, okay? I get that philosophy. I do. But here's the thing that you don't understand, and that's not taught to y'all. Who you are in America, if you don't check you, it's still you over there.
That's right. Amen.
The same woman that take advantage of you here is the same woman that's going to take advantage of you over there. All of this, you go over there and they're going to submit and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Okay, they're doing that because of the laws over there. You bring it back to America, she's protected over here.
That's so true. That's why that is so true. And I get it. I understand it. That's why I'm working myself over here. Like, I'm eating healthier, things like that, having that, like, leaving that American mindset alone and working on myself first. So that way I won't bring that American mindset to that country in the first place.
Let me help you. How old are you, sir, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 33.
Guess what? If you think you want to get that 33 years of Americanism out of you, you're going to get plucked the moment you step off the plane. Let me explain something. I'm born and raised in New York City, New York. Okay. Been there for over 20-some years. I went back home. They called me the country bumpkin. You know why? Because I lived in the South so long that I got a Southern draw. Now, they know I still got my New York swag and attitude, but my voice has changed. Now, you go overseas, you don't think they're going to pluck you as an American. You have more American ways than you ever can imagine. So my question to you is going to be this. What part of America do you not like? And what is it that's keeping you from changing?
Well, it's keeping me from changing right now, like the resource, but part of me like the more it's like the spiritual, like more the mindset and the behavior, like the entitlement. That's what I'm looking for. That part, that entitlement mindset. And what's keeping me from changing is I'm working every day.
Mm-hmm. You said that's what's keeping you from changing because you work every day?
I mean, I'm working on myself. I'm trying to work on myself every day. I understand my own weaknesses first before even trying to even doing that. And it's what is keeping me from changing every day, capping me from doing it. Right now, it's like the laws right now that's keeping me from doing. But I'm trying to look at what I need to do, what person do I need to be so I can change myself.
Okay. Okay. All right. This is what I'm gonna advise you to do. Definitely hang out with me. You know, I'm always gonna say hang out with me. Definitely make sure that you leave me your information, you know, in the about section. Send me your email. I'm also going to challenge you to join my Patreon, you know, so that we can have more of a personal, close connection in the sense of really trying to get to know you as an individual and be able to help you and guide you along that journey. And that way you will always be successful. Because I do connect with other men. You'll see them on this platform. And that way you'll be able to get the knowledge and wisdom, you know, to get you through. I don't want to see you confused by other men's talking points. And then they don't really have the experience that you really seeking, you know, from what I'm gathering from you. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But what I'm gathering from you is, hey, Uncle Stu, I'm a man. I'm 33. I'm trying to get my life in order. I'm trying to get my health in order. You know, I want a woman that's going to be very submissive and that's going to want to follow me. I'm tired of meeting women that has this entitlement. And the question that I would have is, when you talk about entitlement, you know, what are you saying? And when I say that, meaning, you know, what is it that you're approaching? What is it that you're attracting? Because sometimes a lot of dudes, they like to use talking points. They like to use what other content creators say, apply it to themselves, but they don't have that same experience.
That's
you know what I'm saying? And, you know, for me, you know, I ain't no, you know, 8-foot brother with biceps and all that, but I ain't never had no problem getting a woman neither. You understand what I'm saying? So I really need to understand what that means in a further in-depth language.
That's true.
You know, thank you, Big Bad Bull, for putting Anthony Brian Logan in the chat. Thank you very much. You know, so when you say that, the question has to be, what is it that I'm trying to ask her to submit to? So if I was to ask you, if I came with the mindset of a father, you was trying to date my daughter, my question would be, got a house? Where are you 5 years from now as a man? Where are you?
5 years from now, I'm just like you, same thing as you, Uncle Crew, in a bigger scale.
You can't be me.
Okay, not trying to be you. What I am is
and I'm good. You're 33. At 33, I was not retired. So you can't be me. Okay. So
I mean, is trying to be wiser, trying to be just as you wise with the mindset, wiser, a thinker, an author, a speaker, a good influence that is a good person.
Okay. But you haven't answered my direct question.
I see myself as a business.
Shout out to Millennial Mart TV with the $100 super chat. Welcome back. Yes, sir. I'm back. I am back. Okay. Let me see if I can help you.
Yeah. And having help is always a good sign. I'm always listening to people that is older than me, listening and things like that. Because I don't really know. I don't really try to know anything. I try to.
Let me go back to the original question, because you missed my whole question. See, let me help you. I'm gonna see somebody that's in my chat right now. Okay, so I'm gonna use this person that's in my chat. You ready?
Yeah.
If Healing Force Wellness, who I know has a decent job, got a decent income, asked you as a man.
That's Uncle Stu.
So it turned out that I was right.
Where are you going to be 5 years from now? She want to know what kind of man you are.
5 years from now? What kind of man will be 5 years from now? 5 years from now, probably be an entrepreneur 5 years from now. Traveling 5 years from now.
I'm still here.
Okay. I'm gonna challenge this.
Okay.
This is what I want you to do for me.
Okay.
You to sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Not now. I want you tonight. I want you to sit down. And I want you to honestly look at your life, say 3 years from now. I want you to tell me what you see 3 years from now. And I want us to have a plan on how we're going to get there. Can you check oil in a car? Healing for his wellness. She checking you out. She's scheming you out right now. She want to know that if she needed oil in her car, do you know how to check the oil?
Do I know how to check on the oil? And man, I never drove before.
Now, you're supposed to say yes, no, not think about it. Now you said you want a submissive woman. I'm trying to get you a Christian nurse right now. And here you go. I'm going there. All right, it says, what about them? Messing that up badly. You want to know. Are you a provider and a handyman? Are you a father?
Yes, I do see myself as those things.
Okay. And as a father, are you a provider? Are you the protector?
I will be the best provider, protector I can be with guidance.
Let me do it this way. What I would say is, let's get together. Let's have that conversation off the platform.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
And let's do you right. I want to tell you, I appreciate you, sir, for having the boldness to come up, to have conversation, to express yourself. And I want you and I to continue to communicate. Sounds good?
That would be excellent, sir.
All right. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Uncle Stu.
All right. I thank you again. Shout out to you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right. Does anybody else want to come up on the panel? I tell you, I gotta turn off one of these later on. I gotta turn off one of these monitors. I'm having all kinds of little tech issues. I gotta get the Intentional Millionaire. We need a bigger computer. We're trying to get it in the budget. Let me see. Who are you spiritually? Who are you intellectually? Who are you financially? For you to demand submission. Ooh, that's good. That's right. That's right. That's good questions right there. That's very good questions. And Mill says, I need a man that can direct getting home repairs done and is financially stable. And Bill said she don't need no 6 figures. She need one of them brothers that carry a hammer and a screwdriver. I ain't mad, you, Mills. I'm one of them lazy brothers. I go hire one. I fly Millennial Mark TV in to do the floors, you know. I'm one of them type brothers. If anybody want to come up, I dropped the link in the chat. So I'll wait. Oh, you back again, sir? Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. I'm back again.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. I'm back, and I thought about those questions very deeply.
Well, I think that was a little bit quick. You know, it took me almost 2 weeks to really hone in all them questions and being able to answer them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm one of those guys that's looking for wisdom and learning and things like that. That's why I come to the show, because if I think I have the answers, I would not come to your platform in the first place. That's
Understand?
why, that's why I'm on your show, because I don't know those things in the first place. But I'm willing to learn and look at those tools to see what kind of man I'm going to be. Do the guidance.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. Big Bad Bull, put your Instagram out here. This is what I will say to you.
Mm-hmm.
One, before you can lead any woman, you have to first be able to lead yourself.
Amen. That's true.
Okay? And before you can lead yourself, you have to learn, who are you? The
right.
Bible says, he asked Adam, where are you? Was the first initial question. Why? Because in that moment, there was a disconnect between Adam and God, and Adam was lost.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? So as I'm communicating with you, and in your rapidness of coming back, there are some things that you have to answer so that you are not lost. A woman cannot follow a man that doesn't have a direction.
Mm-hmm.
A woman cannot follow a man that doesn't know where he's going. So if you don't know where you're going, how in the world can she follow you? So let me give you an example. In my own home, okay? If my woman says, where are we going in 2 months? I can't just say, oh, hey, or get in the car and we just driving, just wasting gas. That's a waste of time and a waste of gas. So in order for me to go somewhere, I have to have a vision. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain, so they that read it will understand. So it's just like this platform is just like my personal life. I have to have a vision. I have to know, where am I going a month from now? Where am I going 2 months from now? Where am I going, in order for me to be able to know what direction to go in? Do you get it?
I'm starting to understand a little bit.
Okay. Let me use Millenial TV as an example. Okay. He owns his own business, right? He has to write a vision. He has to write a vision statement, right? So that anybody that works with him or is trained under him, they know where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? He can just wake up and say, okay, we're just gonna open the doors. All right, boss, what are we gonna do? I don't know. But we here to work. It don't work that way. He has to be the leader that has the vision that can say where the business is going. He has to be the leader that can say where he wants his home to go, where he wants his children to go. So there's no way in the world I can recommend a woman to you, because you don't even know where you're going.
That's right.
So we got to get you in order before you can start looking outside for a woman. You understand?
That is so true, and I'm trying to do everything I can to get myself in order every day.
All right. Well, let me pull up my boy Millennial Mart TV in the house. Yeah, man, don't worry. I'll be coming down to your state one of these days.
What's going on, Uncle Stu? Hey, look, shout out to you, and shout out to the other panelists. I saw you live. First off, I had to drop the super chat on you and welcome you back to the streets.
Thank you, sir.
Listen, I was hoping I could catch you before you jump off here. I just walked in the door and I saw you was live. I said, "Hurry up! Let me turn my lights on and let me get in the studio real quick before my main man disappear up out of here." But man, listen, I like this conversation because I appreciate the work that you're putting in. The brother that's on the panel, Mr. Garrett. First off, it's nice to meet you. By the way,
nice to meet you.
I was listening to you, and I listen to what Uncle Stu's telling you. I work with, brothers trying to find their way as well. Now, I'm a younger brother. He's an older brother. I'd like to think that you in between me and him. But you know what? We do the same type of work, man, and I respect the work that my man, Uncle Stu, the old man on the block, I respect what he's doing. And I just want to come up here and show my face, and if I can be a voice to kind of, give my input, then, hey, I'm here too. Because this is what this thing is all about, man. We up here, iron sharpens iron, and Uncle Stu is definitely a old piece of iron, not to knock your age, but he's an old piece of iron that's real good at sharpening young iron, man.
That's right.
And I need all the sharpening I can get.
Excellent.
So I didn't hear much of the background. I caught it at the tail end. So, I guess, I hate to be that person to say, hey, if you can catch me up. But I just want to kind of, get a synopsis. If I need to go back, I will.
No, you don't. Vaughn wants to, he originally was talking about trying to go to Brazil. He wants to go get a Brazilian woman that's going to be all this submissive, et cetera, et cetera. And I challenged the idea of him going to another country because I explained to him who you are in America is exactly who you are in Brazil. So you can't leave yourself because where you go is going. And the same situation that you may find yourself here in America, you're going to find in Brazil too. And I also challenged him to see the interview I did with LuCasley so that he can get an idea of a woman that comes from, now she don't come from Brazil, she comes from Nicaragua, but to kind of give him an idea like, are you sure? Because I think some of y'all is into this fantasy and you ain't really living reality when it comes to, I'm going overseas to go get this foreign woman and think you're going to bring her back to America where she's protected in America. She's not always legally protected in another country. And you get yourself over here and you find that same woman, she finds out she got rights. And if you're not a leader here, how you going to lead her there?
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
So
my question would be, have you discovered the best version of, have you became the best version of yourself first before coming to that conclusion? Because I'm gonna give you, just a little bit of like my background to give you an example of what I mean by that. So, myself, I'm 28 years old. I'm a business owner. I've been making six figures for a long time. I've made seven figures 1 year out of all the years I've been in big business. I would like to think that I've, created the best version. I found the best version of me. So, if I was going through situations, having a hard time finding women here, then of course I would be looking elsewhere because, we all looking for the same thing. We're looking for, a woman who will respect us, who will submit to us, who will understand our role as a man in the relationship. But have you really put in the work to, and I don't want this to sound bad because I don't know your background. So I'd be curious. Like I said, I know I'm coming in late, so I'd be curious to know your background if you've put that out there. But I'm just curious to know if you've already put in the work to become the best version of you before trying to bring in a woman who can submit to the version of you that you've created.
Mm. I'm trying to do that every day. I am learning how to have the best version of myself, but I can still improve with some help, with good around people that can help me be the best version of myself.
Right. Much respect. And I'm gonna tell you, because I got another brother who I just brought into my organization who I'm employing right now, who has visions of becoming a business owner himself. And, same type of situation, he before, coming into my organization, he came from a background of, just being an average earner, $40,000 a year, working a city job. He found me on YouTube and now he's working, with my company and I'm training him up to become a business owner himself. Now he does the same, he's done the same thing. He's gone overseas in search of a wife, in search of women because he's struggling here. But the same type of conversation I've had with him, where have you built yourself up to be the kind of man that a woman will submit to? Because I'm gonna be honest, the type of woman that the type of woman that I'm pretty sure you want to bring into your life, the type of man that you're not looking for a 50-50 situation. I'd like to think, I'd like to think that, the type of respect and the type of the respect that you command from the woman who you're going to give your last name to. You want to show her that you are a provider. Now, I understand, too, that, the way things are today, it seems like if you're not making, 100,000 plus, and that's just out of reach, which, unfortunately, that's what's been sold to a lot of people. But, I'm just curious to know, the kind of work you've put in the self preparation, what have you done to make sure that you're ready for what you're truly asking for? Because what you're truly asking for may mean you're bringing a woman into your life who won't work. You're going to have to be 100% responsible for that unit. I'm pretty sure your brother, you might want to have, a family and kids if you already don't have that already. Are you in position to do that as well? You have to make sure you've already completed all of the steps to make yourself available to the type of woman that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm working on it every single day. I read, I take care of my health, I read, I listen to guys like you every day. I'm showing up in podcasts, I'm making my things like that so I can be the best version of myself. And I know I can't do that alone. So I need good people like I have, like my mom, my brother here, and you guys over here. So just big game here so that I can be the best version of myself.
Let me ask you a question, and then I'm gonna, see if anybody else want to come up. Millennial Mark, stay on the platform.
Oh yeah, I ain't going nowhere.
My question to you, Mr. Vaughn, and then, like I said, what I want you to do is, get in my Patreon, because a lot of brothers that's going to need to deal with you, that's going to have to be, totally private and whatnot, as opposed to it being public. But my question to you is, you said you listen to your brother, your mother, not to get deep in your personal life, and you don't have to answer this publicly if you don't want to, okay? Do you live alone?
No, I don't. I live with my mom and my mom.
Okay. All right. I'm not even going to go any further into that conversation. This is what I'm going to suggest. As I said before, join my Patreon. Let's really start, dealing with the work, and let's start dealing with you, and see where we really are, and build you to where you need to be. As I said before, a man that cannot lead himself is not fit to lead a woman. Period. You don't need to be on no platforms that's telling you about women when you're not ready yet. I'm hooking up with men that is holding both women and men accountable. I'm not just going to sit up there and beat up on women. I need to know both sides. Millennial Mark is a man that already got his own. He's developed. He's established. You see what I'm saying? It's easy for me to get him a woman and say, I got somebody who got his own, handling his own business, handling his own finances. He's ready. You see what I'm saying? Where you're not ready. Okay. It's not a bad thing. It just means, hey, I'm not ready. Now I know what I need to do to put the pieces and puzzles and steps together to get ready. I got men, that I'm surrounded with that can help you with money, that can help you with investments, that can help you, Millennial Mark got a training program where he can get you into the business and teach you those things. But you got to be ready to go down there, because he ain't going to hold your hand. He going to tell you what you got to do, and you got to do the business. You understand what I'm saying?
And I'm willing to do it. I am willing to do it.
All right.
That's why I'm here to do in the first place. If I'm not willing to do the work, and if I think I know everything, I want to come to you in the first place.
What, LuCasley, do me a favor. Come on up. You don't have to cam up. You can uncam back here just so I know it's you, but you don't have to be cammed up when you come onto the platform. So you are more than welcome. Yeah, you don't want
and
to
I
bring.
respect the fact for you coming up here and just seeking this, because one thing that a lot of people have to understand is that one thing that I've learned is, and I've learned this as well, is that pride always comes before fall. That's something that we've always heard. Pride comes before fall, and if you acknowledge that there's a problem, the first thing you need to do is seek help, seek advice, seek mentorship from other men who might be in a place where you're trying to be. Because from the sounds of like I said, I didn't hear the whole conversation, but it sounds like you feel as though you're at a place in life where you're ready to, you know, you're ready to have a wife and have your own, right?
I'm
You know,
trying, but I'd rather seek the mentorship in the first place, and instead of doing it on my own to begin with.
And there's
right.
nothing wrong with that, because even me at my age, I have men that are my mentors in different areas right now, and they're younger than me. You understand what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with that, to get a mentor that can help you in different areas of your life. I have it. And like I said, all my mentors, as crazy as it sounds, okay, LuCasley, you want to stay canned? You want to stay uncanned? Hold it. I'm gonna pull you up. If you want to stay uncanned, that's fine. Hey, LuCasley.
Hi.
Hi, Vaughn.
Hi, Millenial.
There go your Latin woman. She's not from Brazil, but there go your Latin woman who's going to talk to you. That's the one I said I wanted you to see her video.
Hi, Vaughn.
Hello, LuCasley. I saw you on
Nice,
the journey as well.
nice to meet you.
Meet you too.
Just a couple of questions. The idea about going to Brazil or you said Colombia?
Yeah, both citizenships. It's because of the culture and education.
Okay. So have you had any kind of contact with local people over there? What brought you to this idea to go down south? Who have you been talking to local people about the environment that you're going to be encountering down there?
I've been talking to like Colombian women and Brazilian women on Facebook. Yes.
All right, so you got to be careful because our countries are in such bad financial situations. There are a lot of women that are looking to take advantage of Americans. And not only the women, they have like, it's kind of like a, you know how the coordinated kind of mafia groups that get together with family members just to rob you silly if you don't know who you are talking to, if you don't know if a person from those countries is trustworthy. So I would caution you. I mean, I would say do not go until you meet these women and you have other Americans that live within that area that can tell you whether the situation is good or bad. I'm telling you, it's not good down there if you don't know where you're going.
Are you aware, Vaughn, of a scam that, and they've been doing it for decades, so this ain't nothing new. You go into the club, see this fine chick, next thing you know, you waking up in a hotel room with no clothes and all your money and stuff is gone.
I never even experienced that or even heard
That's
about
what I'm trying to tell you happens in foreign countries.
Yeah, it has. Dude, that scam been around for years.
Wow, I never. This is the first time I ever heard of it.
I'm hearing a second voice.
That's my brother. Hey,
It's me. I'm his brother.
Okay. Okay.
That's the second voice.
Okay, how you doing? I'm Uncle Stu. To the bottom right is Millennial Mark TV, and that's my number one, LuCasley 20.
Yeah, we've been catching up with y'all on the lead attorney.
Okay.
Okay. So
I've been trying to coach him about different countries and all that stuff.
Mhm.
So I took like Spanish, and but also too I hang out with people from Mexico. I know some Colombians and Peruvians. So then they give me the lowdown, and I tell him. So I'm not gonna let him go by himself without the guidance. Oh no.
Mhm. Vaughn, how soon are you planning on going to either Colombia or Brazil, or is this just like the beginning of your planning? How are you processing this whole changing from the United States to either Colombia or Brazil? Do you have a plan?
Well, right now, I don't like plan stuff, but I'm learning how to plan because I don't organize myself. I'm not a very good organizer, so I have to have someone that can help me organize on how do I get there. So I research what do I need to do to get there in the first place because I'm not a good organizer myself.
Miss Hayes, I do got a question for you. I might correct me if I'm wrong. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all have better? Let me ask you a question. Do you have better lighting?
Oh, we do have lighting. This is like amber lighting.
Yeah. Can you need?
There we go.
I need some bright lights because right now y'all looking real dark.
I mean, there we go.
You know,
No, it looks good.
and it's not okay. And y'all using a cell phone, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Do me a favor. Turn that cell phone to the side.
Oh, like this.
Sideways.
Like that.
There we go. That's
All right.
perfect.
Now we can visually see you and know who we talking to. Okay.
Hey, Uncle Stu, I had a question for. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me make sure I got this right now. I'm talking to two brothers now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I presume now who's the oldest?
That's him. He's the oldest. I'm the youngest.
Okay. So
44. So.
you're 44. Okay. So let me make sure I got that way. That way I'm all on one page. You're the oldest brother.
Yes, sir.
This is your youngest brother.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And your youngest brother live with your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Do you live alone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If this is too personal, just say, Uncle Stu, that's too personal. Okay. And we'll move on. My question is he able to live alone?
We're working on that.
Okay. All right. Answers all the questions I need. LuCasley, if you got something, or Millennial Mark, if you got something.
Yeah, I had a question. But go ahead, LuCasley. I know you were still going. Go ahead.
No, I think Vaughn and Vaughn's brother, I don't know what your name is. Didn't you have a question?
Cause when we were talking about different countries, I was trying to explain to him like the political backdrop. Because sometimes in certain countries you don't want to travel if it's like in a coup state or in a political uproar. Like I was telling him about, because we've been watching what's going on with Brazil and Bolsonaro. I said, you probably want to hold back on that.
Or Peru right now.
Okay, so the political environment in all of those countries is very volatile. From one day, it could be okay. The following day, something happens and you are stranded there. So one of the first things that you need to know when you arrive into one of those countries is know where the American embassy is. Do not start showing your American passport or showing jewelry or showing off that you come in with money, because you are the prime just a victim to be taken advantage of. Again, because of how things are going down south in Colombia, Venezuela is right next to it. Venezuela is a communist country. They say it's socialist, but they're communist. So there's a lot of influx from Venezuelans into Colombia, and it's really scary, the areas that you go into, because there's a lot of not the best folks from Venezuela that have crossed the border to Colombia. So again, you just have to be careful. I mean, I just wouldn't go. I'm telling you, I am from Venezuela. I'm from Nicaragua and Venezuela, and I would not go to my own countries, without somebody local that can take me to the places where it is safe. So I would say hold off at least a year and really think about what you're going to do, and then start making a kind of like a timeline on what, some of the benchmarks, the goals that you want to reach within a month, 3 months, 6 months, and see if you're really ready to go a change, because you're not only changing language, you're changing cultures too. So that is a huge change that you're going to be making without even thinking about how you're going to plan on doing it.
And if you're not ready to move out your mom's house, you're definitely not ready to move out of a country. You understand? If you can't manage your own room, your own apartment, your own bills, your own finances, how can a woman trust you to be able to manage that for two of you? It's you can't just wish that away. I'm telling you, as a man, you hear me? As a man.
I understand.
Right.
And if you're dealing with, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna get real raw right now. I told you my platform is always going to be to lift up men. I'm always going to be 10 toes down for my brothers. But at the same time, I do have to hold my brothers accountable when we ain't doing right neither. I'm not just going to put it all on women. So what I'm saying to you is this. There is no woman in America, I don't care if she's black, white, Spanish, brown, I don't care. They're not going to deal with you if you can't even manage yourself. Let me tell you something. One thing a woman ain't going to deal with is coming home to the dark because you forgot to pay the light bill. Coming home and it's cold because you didn't pay the gas bill, or she get ready to go take a hot shower. She can't because you didn't pay the water bill. And worse, don't let her come home and see that piece of paper that says she about to get evicted because you didn't pay the rent. And see, I'm just telling you, I don't care what country, ain't no woman going to tolerate that, period.
And they shouldn't, to be honest.
Exactly. So instead of worrying about getting to Brazil, and instead of worrying about trying to go overseas, you need to worry about how do I get my own place? Because my brother, if you can't go from your mama house to your house, you're still not fully developed as a man. You're just a male, but you are not a man.
Can I add to that a little bit?
Millennial Mark, there's a, I don't know if I clipped, yeah, I did clip it. Millennial Mark talked about, what is that word you used?
Son, husband.
Yeah, son, husband.
Wow.
And a son husband is a man that lives with a woman that calls himself a man, but is really operating as a son.
I never thought about it like that before. Never heard of that term. Man.
Exactly. And I got a clip of it because it's called son husband. You see what I'm saying? So when we as men ain't operating in our full manhood, I'm gonna say it sensitively, then we're nothing but a bunch of women.
Wow. I never really thought about that like that.
Right. So let me
tell you something. Go ahead.
You got women that'll sit here and tell you what a good woman is, but a woman can't tell you what a good woman is. Only a man can tell you what a good woman is. Because now LuCasley's married, but I'm just going to use her as the example. LuCasley might be good for Millennial Mark, but she may not be good for me. Doesn't mean she's a bad woman. It simply means what Millennial Mark may need out of a woman, LuCasley can give to him, but what I may need out of a woman, LuCasley can't necessarily, give to me. Doesn't mean she's a bad woman. It means me and Millennial Mark has two totally different needs as a man. You don't even know what you need, so there is no way in the world you can vet a woman for you because you don't even know you.
So true.
So you're listening to men on platforms tell you about going overseas and telling you get these Brazilian women and telling you get all this submissiveness when, brother, you ain't fully developed as a man.
And if I can add to that, Uncle Stu,
yeah, please
because
do.
I want to speak on something that Vaughn said earlier. You said that you're a poor planner. You don't have a plan. A woman loves a plan. If you can't get a woman to submit to you here in the States because you don't have a plan, when you go overseas, no, that's just, it's nature. There's no plan. At that point, when you go overseas, you're nothing more than a walking dollar sign. When that dollar sign is over, you're level set with everybody else who's walking around in her country who can't even get her attention.
Right.
You have to develop you first. Can I ask you how old you are?
I'm 33, sir.
33. I'm 28 years old. You gotta, and I, you know what? I got married at 23 years old. I'm divorced now, but I made plenty of money, even when I was 23 years old. I wasn't ready for marriage. Even when I was still developing who I am today as a man, making all this money. You can, a woman would look at me and see what I make and be like, oh yeah, he's the ideal type of guy. I wasn't ready then. I know that now. You have to. I'm still working on me. You have to always, it's called ABI. Always be improving. Where you are. I'm going to tell you. Just you're 33. I'm 28. You're still living at home. No knock to that. If you're in a position where you're trying to save money to buy a home or do whatever goals you have, being at home is not it's nothing to knock if you're trying to go somewhere with that. But if you're just there because that's where life has you right now, you still have a lot of work to do. The last thing you should be worried about is going to another country to find a woman when women submit to a man with a plan. The reason why I was able to get married at 23 years old to a woman who was 9 years older than me is because I was a man that, even at that age, I was a man with a plan. You have to make sure that you become the best version of you first before you try to introduce somebody else into that. And if we're going to call out the elephant in the room, a lot of brothers go overseas for different reasons. It's not always, they say, oh, I'm going to go find a wife, but it's not to go find a wife. We know what it's for. But what I'm saying is, if you're here, you're on your purpose, you have to discover what your purpose is first. Once you discover your purpose and you get to work on that and you start developing you and who you visualize, who you can become, and a woman sees what you're working towards, even if you're not done building what you're trying to build, a woman will pick up on what you're trying to build, and a woman will put herself in position to help you get to where you're trying to go. Because one thing that I've learned, being a man who was married and who's now divorced, is women are great help to men who can provide them with tasks to help them with, But if you don't have a task, you don't have a plan, they don't know where to fit in,
Yeah.
The worst thing, and I learned that in my marriage. The worst thing that happened in my marriage is when I couldn't task my wife, who has a had a master's in accounting. I never put her in control of anything, and she just didn't know where her place was. And for her to go back to a job, I didn't understand. Now I know, I understand it.
Right.
But then, women, they need to feel needed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Army vet, yeah, I should have asked a question about where's the father at. It wasn't that I dismissed that question. It didn't come to me, and I was about to ask that question when you brought it up. Diamond, I definitely understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, if I got a man still living at home with his mother at 33, and like Millennial Mark said, if he's not at his mom's house because she's sick, or at his mom's house because he's trying to save money to buy a house, or he didn't just recently get divorced and a situation happened, there was some other factors that I saw, and I felt those factors needed to be said in private versus public. But I'm definitely 10 toes down with you on the spiritual as well as the other stuff. What's up, Benard?
What is going on? How y'all doing, panel?
Hey, look, I got a T. Millennial Mark. Now watch this. Millennial Mark. See that setup? You see the setup, right?
Like it.
You like it, right? Look good, don't it?
Yeah.
You know I'm about to get him. Ask him how many videos he did.
None.
No, oh man, listen.
Look.
That's a good setup, though. That's a beautiful setup.
Hey, one video from him. I don't care if he just get up there and say, "Hey y'all, how you doing? Just testing out the mic, the lights. Okay, I'm done." They gave me a 1 minute video.
Y'all remember he asked for that. No, exactly what I just did is what I'm doing. I sat back and watched the whole thing. So, and you learn that from life coaching. And my mother used to work with kids with certain things. Everybody understand what I'm saying?
I do.
We all saw that.
Right.
So I know what you were saying about the private part, and unfortunately, it was just put out in public.
Right.
So you understand that some people mean we understand that some people mean well. And I saw when my sister came up here, LuCasley, I knew you were trying to hold it on your own. I was like, is somebody gonna come up there with him? Because then Millennial Mark came up, and then I was like, okay, LuCasley came up. I said, all right, I'm gonna let them kind of buffer this a little bit. Then I'm gonna come up, because y'all all of y'all did a great job, all three of y'all, really. Because this is the purpose to me of YouTube. When you have a young brother like Millennial Mark who's successful at what he does, you have LuCasley, you have Uncle Stu, you have me like almost like in the middle for most because I'm 48. To me, this is what YouTube is about. This is content. Most of the stuff I see is not content. Let me look in the camera. It's gossip. It's two different things.
Right.
And if you wanna get froggy about it, all you gotta do is just look in people's chats and see how nasty it is and how messy it is. Yeah, I'm looking right into letting y'all. This is why I've been taking my time, because I know what I'm learning, what I don't want.
Right.
And this is what I do want to see right here. This is a village. The 2-parent household never worked. It was a village because you would go to your aunt's house or your grandma's house or somebody's house when your mom and dad was not around. It was a village. This is a village, people. This is what it's about. I didn't, and I enjoyed all three of you guys. Millennial Mark TV, I look much up to you. I don't care how much younger you are than me. I still look up to you because I respect what you have done at your age.
Right.
And that's another problem me and Uncle Stu talk about all the time, is that people get caught up in their age and think you can't respect somebody younger than you. That's where you mess up. That's where you mess up, that you can't be told nothing.
Right.
I get told something all the time because my son's 25, about to be 26. My daughter turns 24 next week. So I'm always being told something, right? I'm always getting groaned.
Especially if you got girls now. Oh, they're gonna tell you. They're gonna tell you about yourself now.
Oh yeah. So I respect everybody up here. I just came up here and I appreciate and I respect the way you guys handled that, and y'all did it the best you could. I don't think nobody else. I don't think a lot of other content creators would have been able to handle that. They would have went for a moment to get a clip. Y'all think know what I'm saying. Yeah. And I really appreciate that, because my wife will tell you right now, and my mom and family, when I see people like that in the street, I still go make sure I'll break off from my wife and be like, no, I'll be back. I need to make sure they get across the street. I need to make sure they get on the bus. I need to make sure they gave the register people the right money, because I know something is not right there. Right. I'm that protective guy. Right. I'm him. I will go to jail for them. So I'm coming up here to commend you guys. I didn't really come up here to do nothing else. Everybody else in the chat. And Big Bad Bull, peace of you too, bro. So I mean, I really appreciate you guys, how y'all came up as a family, as a village, and handled that. And I yield. I mean, I'll stay up here, but that's what I pretty much came up here to say to you guys.
Yeah, and put your YouTube channel in the chat. Put your YouTube channel in the chat. Nah, Healing Force Wellness, she up there giving medical advice. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm gonna put you up on this panel. Stop playing. She telling brothers how not to get diabetes and the whole nine. Like, all right, now I'm about to put you on this panel. We changed the whole topic. But did you catch? I know Millennial Mark, you coming in late. Did you catch Benard, like, say, the first hour of the conversation?
I caught the last 30 minutes of it, but it was fire to me from what I caught.
Okay.
I liked it.
Millennial Mark, what it was originally is talking about Supreme Court, this whole idea. But I kind of spun it where I try to explain to people kind of, and I think we came up with a new term, which is social dictatorship. That's when a bunch of small groups to get together, create one big group, and then force everybody else to be a part of that group, even if it goes against those people's, feelings, thoughts, opinions, and views, and that they're not even allowed to talk about it. Like if you say, hey, I don't agree with this, now you're called every name in the book, you're a hater, let's just destroy his business, without you having your own freedom in a country that says, as long as my rights don't violate your rights, then we should be able to live in harmony. But if you don't believe in what my rights are, you're not allowed to live in peaceful and harmony.
Right. Yeah, I missed all of that. I didn't see that part.
Yeah, that was the earlier part of the stream. What's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up doing a second channel, and the second channel is going to talk more about politics, and really is going to talk more about policies over politics, meaning what is the policy and how is that policy really going to affect individuals or groups of people? Because a lot of people don't understand politics. They really, really don't, especially policies. LuCasley said something, and it triggered only one person that I've gotten a comment from, but it's because a lot of people really don't understand. She gave praise to the Constitution. A lot of us get stuck in, when they only recognize the 1/3, 5th of the man, but they don't recognize the Constitution as a whole. People giving up their lives to get to this United States Constitution. They really don't understand it. We got issues, don't get me wrong, but Lord, go to some other countries, and you see a major difference.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right. It was, the little bit that I caught. I mean, it was, it's an interesting conversation because, I've personally worked, with brothers such as the brother that was just on the panel not too long ago, and I get it. When you get to a point to where, you feel like you're just spinning gears, and you feel like maybe this just isn't the place for you. Well, you have to think back. Have you really tried to align yourself with people who can help get you, or at least try to steer you in the right direction?
Right.
Now, we've talked, me and you, we've talked a lot, outside of YouTube, and so you know a good bit of my backstory,
Right.
And a lot of people, aren't like, us. They're not really, when I say us, men who came from, some rough, upcomings, and were able to, in a sense, weather the storm, go through all of the trial and error, and still come out on the other side successful.
Right.
And it really pains me, not just, because I could be in that type of situation, but the fact that I'll tell you this, most of the people who I personally mentor, like I told you, I'm 28 years old. Most of the people who I mentor are 35 to mid 40s. And it's like, when I hear their stories, and I'm like, man, there's just so much stuff out here that we just don't know. There's the lack of direction. And, brothers, there's a lot of brothers out here just giving up, but they're also hearing voices that's empowering them to maybe make them feel like they're more than what they are. And they haven't really put in the work to become the person who they think they should be, and who they should be viewed as, and they should be respected. It takes more than just being biologically a male to garner respect.
Yeah.
And garner, submission. You have to get out here and put in the work.
Well, that's why I didn't let him go, because I felt even though we as a collective was talking to him, we also as a collective was talking to people that, whether they're in the chat or they're listening outside the chat, we're talking to somebody outside of him. You understand what I'm saying? So he may have been the face, but he wasn't the total package, of who we are talking to. Because you got people that just needed to really hear, You know, they're not, I don't want to say bold enough, because I don't know if I was in a certain position, do I want to be on somebody's panel and like Benard said, be on somebody's clip the next morning. Look, we're going to make this dude look dumb. Look, y'all, look how dumb he is. And no, that's not made for that. You're fine, Vaughn. You are fine. As long as you can hear us, you are fine. You know, the fact that he had the ability to say, hey, I need help. Hey, I want to do this. Hey, I want to be able to do. You done beat 50% of half the men I speak to every single day, because you're smart enough to know where you are and what you want to do. Whether it's the right or wrong, you at least got that much knowledge. And then your brother is standing right next to you. So there is some commonality that's there. So it's like, hey, what I'm going to reject you for? What I'm going to beat you up for? For you having the gumption to do it? No. I'm hoping there's another young brother that say, hey, Uncle Stu, I ain't come up on the panel, but here's where I'm at. Can you help me? Because I'll tell any male, give me a year with you, and I ain't trying to take your money. Do you understand? Like, some people be like, yo, man, give me $2,000 and I'll get you from here to here to here to here. No. My attitude, give me 6 months and I'll show you where you can be. Read one book a month and I guarantee you, you will be in places you wouldn't even believe.
One beautiful thing I noticed about Vaughn is that he was willing to listen, and he wasn't jumping in. He was just listening, just feeding of that information that he was getting, because I'm certain that probably he has not had the opportunity for someone to kind of like guide him through some of those challenges. Right. So that is very admirable that he was willing to listen and say, oh yeah, I never thought about that. That was wonderful.
Exactly. You know, and he was smart enough to say, hey, I know y'all names. I seen y'all on the lead attorney. Hey, y'all somebody, you know, so you're smart enough to say, okay, I'm watching lead attorney. Hey, who is this dude? Who's this dude? Hey, maybe I need to go listen to this dude. Maybe I need to go listen to this dude, you know, so that's on point. Let me ask something. MH08, the Russian Orthodox Church believes Putin is just short of divine. Are we answering a question? Because that's kind of off topic of the panel and of some of the people in the chat. So I'm just trying to figure out, was you trying to answer a question or was you just making a statement? And Army Vet, you 100% right. The Black church votes is the biggest voting section that can spread the message. Where else do Black people gather? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to even challenge that, Army Vet. You're right. The Black church is definitely a large voting bloc, but I'm also going to tell you that because a lot of Black men is no longer in the church, I think the studies and the statistics shows during the Trump election, when he first won presidency, and even this last election, how he lost the presidency, ironically, more Black males voted for Trump in his re-election than Biden in his election. So I'm going to argue that you're starting to see a more male rise in the Republican conservative philosophy than in the Democratic ideals. And I think as time goes, I honestly believe that if it wasn't necessarily Trump, and again, catch-22, if it wasn't necessarily Trump and it was another Republican, Biden would not be in office. I think more Black men just got a little bit nervous with Trump as an individual than him being a Republican. as a whole. Just my thought, but you let me know what you think. I told you I don't try to persuade anybody. Facts. Amen. Well, everyone, unless y'all got something else to say, I think we had an awesome stream.
That was good, Uncle Stu. Like I said, I came in late, but I just actually got in from working.
Yeah.
That was good, man. I'm glad I was able to catch that little bit that I did catch, because I do respect the fact that brother came up. He was, from what I saw, he was open, he was listening, he wasn't deflecting, he wasn't, blaming everybody else and not blaming himself. He was accepting of everything that you had to say. He was accepting of, some of the things that I tossed at him, which, I didn't hear enough to really kind of give my critiques. I was just curious to know a little bit about his background. It's very concerning to me when I hear brothers who are his age still at home with their mother. I left home at 18 and never looked back. But, it's just, I'm different. I get it. I know, I get it. But I'm just saying, when I hear that, I'm not even his age, and I just can't fathom that.
Right.
Right. Two different worlds.
It's depressing. Yeah, it's depressing. It's depressing. It really is. The more I'm going to tell you something, Uncle Stu. I did not know, because I guess I've been as young as I am, so this is going to sound crazy, but I guess I've just been so disconnected with everyone else who's, around my age group. He's not too far off. He's a millennial. Yeah. But I guess I've just been so disconnected. I didn't know how bad it was, and not saying, not taking nothing away from him and his situation. I'm just saying, like, this is more, we see this a lot, not, in the sense of, another older black man staying at home with their mom, but more of the sense of, like, unaccomplished black men. We are a powerful group of people. And if we just knew where to channel our power, whether it be in the workforce, whether it be in business, where it be something creative. We're big consumers, man, but we don't produce anything. We just consume everything, man.
Yeah, and that's where we're trying. That's kind of where I'm at. We're trying to change things around. Definitely trying to change things around, one video at a time, one step at a time, until that turnaround comes. I just want to address this. Diamond said, I will never cite for Trump, but I have and will vote for a Republican that is legit. And that's really what I was saying earlier. So I 100% agree. Not everybody is going to be 10 toes down for Trump. I got it. And I agree with this one, when she says, I never vote party only. Absolutely. That's why I said that I barely touched the surface today. If I had to clip this, it would be the first maybe hour and a half. The last part, you have to literally go on and search it. Certain things that Millennial March said, Benard S said, LuCasley said, I would clip that, but you would never see who they're talking to, because I think that is just good knowledge, good information that needs to be delivered. And I probably have to do a commentary so it's understood in what way is done. But at the same time, no, never vote for party. I always say, look at policy before you look at a party.
I agree. I see Anthony Southeast. I can agree with that just a tiny bit, not a whole lot, because I know some cats that are my age. Well, he said it takes a little longer for some. I don't know if he's talking about the young man, but I know some my age.
I will say,
well, I know some my age that are still at home. So let's go there.
Yeah, well,
let's go there. So I can't agree with all that.
Yeah, I'm not going to really deal with somebody in their 50s. I will say that I agree because of two different factors. Me growing up, being 18, leaving the home, and an 18-year-old today leaving the home, I may not advise an 18-year-old today to leave the home, because some of the things that I had access to at 18, a lot of young kids don't have access to at 18. So I can't compare my 18-year-oldness with their 18-year-oldness. Hey, you can't even get into the military the same way I got in the military. So things have changed. So I think there's some preparation that definitely needs to be talked about and taking place. And then when he talks about it takes a little longer for some, you some people, when I figure it's longer, it's more on a knowledge base and understanding than I would say it's the individual. I was fortunate. I was surrounded by people who had certain things that can guide me in certain ways where a lot of people don't, especially in this pandemic, because who the heck is around? And like Vaughn, you could definitely tell he was listening to certain content creators. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You know where it was coming from, but he, like Millennial Mark said earlier, he personally was not in a position to take those advices. That's why I'm very sensitive about, go to this country. Wait a minute, who are we talking to? What? Because you telling all these people to go run overseas, they gonna run overseas and come back kind of messed up if they going the same way they left. Yeah. Because one thing they told us in the military is, you can go off the base, but never be alone.
Right.
Don't be alone.
And my son, and the reason why I'm saying that is that I don't cut no better, no breaks in certain areas. I'm saying certain areas, and I'll leave it at that. But like my son is pretty much a lot like Millennial Mark TV. I mean, I think he's 3 years younger than you, and he already got his first condo. But he knew I had to do that because he was like, "Hey, I got 2 sons by this one woman. I need to put a roof over her head." He just got out 80% disability from the Navy. So he knew. And my daughter, and both of them said the same thing. 2 different mothers, but they both said the same thing. One dad. They was like, I didn't like the rules at home, so I did what I had to do to get out the house so I could do me. And my daughter's about to get her master's. She graduates next week after next. And my he's going to have his 2-year degree because he's going to use the GI Bill. So I'm like you. I understand what Uncle Stu is saying, but my son and daughter is pretty much like you, Millennial. I mean, yes, it might be a rarity, but they don't hang around nobody that's not doing nothing either at their age, in their 20s. Mm-hmm. My son and daughter is like, you not moving? And Uncle Stu daughters are the same way. If you not moving, that's where the difference is. But in some cases, me and Uncle Stu are there. You know what I'm saying? To be like, hey man, and they used to hate this speech from me. I don't know if Uncle Stu ever said it. I still say it. I said, look in the camera. I ain't gonna always be here. You need to get it right. Yeah, I got some stuff to leave you, but I'm not gonna always be here. I'm not gonna tell you that lie that was told for years. I'm gonna always be here. No, I'm not. Sticks and stones may break your bones. Yeah, but words do hurt you. See, I told them the truth. I never told them the lie. You know what I'm saying? And like I tell everybody, one time my son was playing, he was like 10 and he just finished rec ball. And I kissed him on the forehead. I was like, I said, man, I know your boys around. He said, Dad. He said, half of these cats dads. First of all, he said, they don't even know where their dad's at. He said, number 2, their dad not in. He said, I'm good. He got me straight at 10. Because, you don't do certain things, in front of them. He was like, I'm good. He said, you here. So, it's moments like that you can, and how we are 3, and LuCasley and everybody in the chat that we give back. This is how we give back. And I do agree now to a certain extent, but I always tell my wife and my son and daughter, I said, if you're old enough to know better and you know better, there's not no crazy thing. There's nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse. So I never gave them no excuse. My mom didn't give me no excuse. She said, you go to jail, I'm not coming to get you. You put yourself there. And like Dr. Jawanza Kafuju said, he said, you can control the process, but you can't control the outcome of your children. You can control the process growing them up. You can't control the outcome because we know better. And that's why, and it's funny, you didn't even know I was up there. I'm still thinking about the $7,000 to the $10,000 website. Yeah, I was on that joint.
Oh, you was on that? Hey, look, I just had mine built. I heard it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that's my way out of corporate America from what he said.
Yes.
That
Strong brother. I went and met that brother in person.
Oh.
Strong brother. A brother that needs a YouTube channel, but he
Yes,
almost
he
70
does.
years old. He ain't gonna do it. But
he ain't gonna do it.
Wealth of knowledge.
Saw it.
Yeah.
Wealth of knowledge. And when he said that, and I'm sitting up there like, it didn't sound crazy to me because I'm like, okay, I get it. But yeah, it's people like him that's passing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What he went through when he started up in 1972 to get to where he is today, and I've seen in real life where he is today, man. But Uncle Stu said something that's so true, because I think back where you said at 18 it might not just be easy to leave home, because I'll say this: when I left home at 18, I was able to get out here and get an apartment, in a major, U.S. city with a job that was paying me $9 an hour. Plus, I was doing a temp job on the side. I was able to make my little rent, my $590-something a month rent for my 1-bedroom apartment back in 2012. Those days are gone. I know for a fact that at 18 years old, if I was 18 years old again, I wouldn't be able to afford to get out here, no matter how hard I worked, at a job where the credentials that an 18-year-old will bring to a organization, I know I wouldn't be able to afford that. So we have to make sure that we are sculpting our young men and our young women to be able to get out here and make it on their own, but not. There's no more of this pushing the kids out the door at 18 years old.
No.
If I hope the godparents aren't doing that anymore in 2022, because if you pushing your kids out the door at 18 years old in 2022, they're done. It's not even possible to get out here and make it. Not at 18 with the credentials that they're going to come to the table with. It's just not possible.
Nope.
Now, a little bit about, I ain't got to go too much about me, because you've heard my story on my stuff, but my story is a little different. It's a lot different, but I had to do what I had to do, because I had a son very young, and that really put the fire under me to get out here and do what I needed to do and make something happen. And by the grace of God, I made it. I made it. And to see that, because I've heard it a lot, when I hear about people saying, "Oh, you're an anomaly, whatever," and I'm like, no. But then I start like working with other brothers out here. So just like that brother said, some people start late. I do get that, but like you said, at 40-something years old, there's a cutoff somewhere. There's a cutoff. And I'm gonna say it even in the 30s. I'm gonna say 35. There's got to be, a cutoff somewhere. But go ahead, Uncle Stu.
I definitely would say 35. There's something else is going on, But that's my population that I talk to. 35 to the 45-year-olds is my majority number. So all the content I have to create is going to be more for that group. As soon as I can really put my finger on what that group needs and desires, I'm probably just going to do more male speaking content, and whatnot. And get down with the brothers that has been in this space, brothers like Angry Man that's been in the space for a while, and the and the Minister Japs that's been out here for a while. I mean, they're not my competition, per se, because YouTube is too big to be sitting and say we competing, but get out here and be that other voice that's needed to say X, Y, and Z.
Agreed. And I'm shooting myself because I ain't jumped on your course when you first started it. Oh my God. I mean, his course took off like to the moon. Like your course went like to the new 23 planets they done found past the moon. Lead attorney had given you a warning. He's like, "Hey, Millennium, you better." And I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you for real. Good job. Real good.
I appreciate it. I'm trying to put in the work, man. I got a guy. He's actually flying back out tomorrow. He came down from California to do a ride along with me. He's starting his business, and Just it's a lot of brothers out here really making moves. We don't, the media don't show it. You don't really see it on the internet, but it's happening. Brothers out here really trying to become better versions of themselves. Panels such as this, individuals such as a lead attorney, steering brothers in the right direction, telling them, hey, you might need to connect with this person, X, Y, Z. There's so many brothers out here like Uncle Stu, putting in the work, trying to help. And I'm gonna tell you something. I've never seen this, and I'm young, so it's weird to even be talking like this, but I've never seen this much unity within black men in my life. I've never seen this before. Because we've always seen each other move as individuals, but I'm seeing a lot of collaboration with black men out here on YouTube and out here in the real world, and I love it. I love it. I love what I see. I love the fact that we are really coming together as a people. And the media might want to tell you something different, but I'm out here doing the work, and I got brothers who are coming to me looking to learn how to get out here and do the work. So I know what's going on. Uncle Stu know what's going on. I don't know how long you've been on YouTube, but if it hasn't been long, you're going to see this stuff as well. Brothers are seeking, information and collaborations and mentorship from other brothers to try to get themselves to the next level. So I love what I see, because for the longest time, it has always been us just moving as individuals, man, and we're finally coming together, and I love it.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've been like the watcher, so I've been up here for a minute, and I'm pretty much like the watcher from Marvel. I just watch, and like I said, I figure out what I don't want to do. I figure out the only clique I'm in is in a picture. I'll tell everybody that. I've been doing photography and video for 20 plus years. That's the only clique I'm in. I'm not in no cliques. I want to be in families and villages. The only clique I'm gonna ever be in is in the picture. That's it. That's what I can tell everybody, because I don't know who's gonna need who from what. And so what I got coming, I can't wait to bring to you guys, because I just picked up my best friend, and I'm actually going to interview him. And people need to know there's more to life than just wheels. You can also wheel your body parts to your family if they might need it in the future or generations to come. Those are the type of shows I'm bringing. Real stuff. Now, I'm not going to be talking about gossip. I don't care about Kanye. I don't care about Kim. I don't. So I just had to look in the camera and tell everybody that. I care about what's up here, who's in the chat. And Miss Diamond, big shout out to your son being that young, owning 2 homes. I read that. That's the stuff I care about. So, peace and love to both of you brothers and the chat.
Well, thank you.
Well, one thing I told Uncle Stu, and because you've taken that stance and said that you're going to be focused on what's real, same thing I told Uncle Stu. You know it. They might not hear you now, they might not hear you later, but they're going to hear you. Your numbers might not reflect the amount of voices that's listening to you, but you're being heard. Hey, I just learned today. You hear me on my stuff. So you're being heard. The numbers might not show it, but best believe it's we out here making some real changes and making stuff happen. And even if your numbers don't reflect it, just like Uncle Stu, just like what you said, and the same thing I do with my channel. I don't go after salacious entertainment, gossip. I'm not into any of the escapism. I keep it strictly big business. I keep everything I do laser focused, because that's the problem that I identify with our people is we're not focused, and we're not committed to anything that helps get us to the next level. We're worried about trying to find something that we can compare ourselves to and say, well, I know my life sucks, but at least I'm not dealing with that. We got to get over the freaking escapism and get focused and get busy,
Right. Well, gentlemen, let me say, Anthony Southeast, thank you very much, sir. I will continue to try to bring knowledge and wisdom and understanding of life and anything else that is needed. For all those that's still rocking with me in the chat, like I said, after the stream, leave a comment. Let me know so that way I know what you need. Help me help you so that we can each help each other to achieve. And with that being said, gentlemen, love you. One plant the seed, one water, God will bring the increase if the seed falls on good ground. Amen, amen, and amen. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a peace and blessings be on to you. Peace.
Thank you, Uncle Stu.
Peace.
Welcome.